Well, I grade how I feel about my life every single day and then have the data for years, right? Like I track all of, did I get up at 5? Did I brain train? Did I meditate? Did I get in the gym?
You
Did I
will
eat
rate
clean?
your day?
Yeah, I rate my day. I rate how I feel about my life, work, and health, 0 to 10. So I could show you how much more disciplined I am, how much healthier I am, how much like happier I am in qualitative numbers that I've collected over
That
the
is
years.
so
I got it.
interesting.
But then I could show you how I used my time for the last like 3-4
You're
years.
so analytical.
Then I could show you how I've grown my wealth, right? Like in how I've grown all the companies where it's just this entire life, if you will, was designed and then lived with purpose and intent, which gives you what? This incredible feeling of fulfillment and like happiness and gratitude of like, look at this amazing life that I created a vision for and grew into continually. And you can do it too. And you can do it too. Go to robdyrdek.com and download the app.
He's a self.
No, I actually was going to ask.
No.
Do you do mentorship? Do you like teach
I'm not
people how to
gonna
do this?
I'm not gonna do mentorship, but it's a philosophy that I believe that I can teach to other people, and really, like I'm gonna build a software that anybody can build their own version of it and build this sort of harmony in life and basically find balance in their health, wealth, life, and work.
Can I ask a question?
Yeah.
I got one right after you.
Okay. This started me on an interesting train of thought. I too am super analytical. I love data. We love data. We know the importance and significance of data. You can do so much with the data, but I am afraid to rate my own life like you are doing. And I've seen this on your Instagram before. You talking about how you're going to rate the day and see how you can improve. But truthfully, and this is funny because I'm not afraid to fail or fall short per se, but I'm afraid to give a rating to my day because I don't want to see the days that are 4s on paper. I don't want to see
those are the most important.
I know, but like I think the challenge of having to beat the day I just did is like too stressful for me to think about.
But that's not what you're doing. You're living life. And then when you're down, it's, I call it qualitative awareness, because when you just ask yourself how I feel about it and rate it 0 to 10, and to me it's like 5, you're neutral, 6 and above, you're half full, you're hopeful, 4 and below, you're half empty. And when you're half empty, you're like, why'd I even wrestle?
Yeah.
I don't even like wrestling. You know what I'm saying? Like, what am I even doing? Why am I even traveling and doing this show? Like, when you're empty, like, you can pick apart anything. You know what I mean? And so, as I began to see that, what really became clear to me, I'm just trying to optimize and evolve over time, because when you ask yourself it, you take a note of it, a lot of times it ends up being the same thing. And so it's not like, it seems like it's all of these things, but it's really 4 or 5 key things that keep bringing you down, that when it becomes so obvious, that's what I need to change. And then when you begin to change that, now over time, because I went from a place, because this is kind of how the flow worked. I started doing it in 2014, and it wasn't until 2020 did I collect the data for the whole year. Because when I would be really low, then I don't want to collect the data, right? Like, so then you go on these big dark periods. Okay, then you're back on, and you get, and eventually they got less and less to then. And what changed me in 2020 specifically is somebody heard me talk about it in an interview, and they emailed me and said, hey, I could write a script for the way, because I just keep all the stuff in my Google Calendar, and they wrote a script for me to pull it out and put it in dashboards. So now it gamified it. Now I'm looking at like seeing my numbers and be like, and then it was so clear that like when I don't drink, eat clean, get up at 5, meditate, get in the gym, brain train, like that my quality of life is higher. It became so obvious. So it changed the way that I began to approach health and the importance of it. I discovered this in the process of failure, right? Like I initially, to give you even the context, like I basically just did a million different things. I would just go high and low, boom and bust, boom and bust. What's the next big thing? I got Wild Grinders on Nickelodeon. I got Fantasy Factory, Ridiculousness, Professional Skateboarding League, all these companies I got. It's like one of these is going to be the big winner for me, that then I'll find happiness, then I'll find balance, then I'll be in a steady relationship and all these things, right? That's how I approach life. And then in the middle of all that chaos, I was raising money for my professional skateboarding league at the time, which I didn't even know what an investment banker was. I didn't even know what venture capital was in 2013. You know what I'm saying? Like when they said, hey, your league's worth $30 million, I'm like, we did $7 million in revenue. How is that even possible? I didn't even know multiples. I didn't even know how any of it worked. And when I went out and pitched my league, like everybody, like I would pitch my league after I pitched myself of like, here, I have all these companies, this fully integrated multi-platform universe of brands and media, of cartoons and skateboard leagues and foundation with skate parks and multiple shows on MTV, all these things. Like, and so they were like, well, let's have a deal with everything you do. And so one of the big investment groups out here, the Rain Group, like offered me like basically a 360 deal. Where like, hey, we will value you. At the time, it was like they would value me at $100 million, and that they were going to give me $50 million for half of everything I did forever, and then I was going to get, I would get $30 million off the top and $20 million into the company, right? And at the time, I want to say, I was probably making like 10 or 12 million at the time, right? And it was
annually,
yeah. And then I was like, Finally, man, these really smart business people see it in me. These guys see it. I'm meant to be a billionaire. They're the ones to get me there. Finally, all my chaos and highs and lows and sanity, like finally, the smart guys recognize the potential in this guy. You know what I'm saying? Time to take me to, let's go to the Billy Club. How do you get to the Bill Club, guys? You know what I'm saying? It's really where my mind was, because you got to think, I'm uneducated. I quit high school. I don't understand money. I'm just like, I will things into existence. I fantasize about what a great business it would be. And then when it's like, I spent all that time and lost a couple $1 million, like, oh, fuck, well, okay, well, I guess that didn't work, right? Like I didn't understand it. But when they did the diligence on me and stripped away, because they had to look at all my personal finances, how I managed my money, all the every company I had and everything, they were like, you're uninvestable. We will loan you $7 million to figure out like how to make a business out of you. You have to go on a salary of $700,000 a year. And at the time, I'm like, what? And then pay us back of this $7 million at a 10% interest. And then if we can't figure out how to build a business around you, then we get to keep this equity percentage of you for life.
Nah, I don't think.
Yeah, it was the most devastating. It went from what's up, we going to the Billy Club, what are we doing, to just like you are. And then at that moment,
even go to the strip club.
Yeah, you want to know what I was at that point? Like, you're not the business person you think you are. You're not the like you don't even like. What do you even like about any of this, right? Like, is it just you're just gonna keep creating more and like try to find the answers? Like, that's when I was really at like you can't live like this. And I said to them, like, I'm going to come back to you. And when I come back to you, I'm going to have the plan figured out. And then when I ask for the money, I'm going to know exactly what the money will be used for and what we're going to grow. I'm going to figure this out on my own. And it started this journey that just led to hiring all these people, these different books and different consultants that began to shape my entire way of creating not just how I wanted to build businesses and create value from a venture perspective, but what type of life did I want? Then I designed that life and began to live it. And then at the end, the people that bought my production company for $190 million were the same group that offered to give me the $7 million loan. That's how crazy the poetic justice is of betting on yourself. And then forget about, they would have owned half of you and you would have just got 30 million.
Yikes.
And instead, like, you bet on yourself. And that's where the magic side is, where once I built the harmony in my existence and began to like build systems for everything and look at life of, setting goals in all aspects of life, then I began to create this extraordinary energy, and I kept evolving and growing and learning and growing and learning, and my whole world grew into the state that I am today, which is like, you're like, what? Like, I'll be like looking at my shower and be like, you're so lucky. Like, I'll be driving, like pulling out of just take my kids to school, be like, look at this life you have. Like, this is crazy. Like, you don't practice gratitude, you're overwhelmed by it. And then like you just continually attract abundance. It's just nonstop, bigger, more fulfilling things that tie back to what ultimately creates that harmony, peace, and happiness within you is what attracts to you now. You know
For
what I mean?
sure. Leading with
But you
gratitude.
got to design it.
Yeah.
To get there. But you can't design it at 27. You got to become 37 and fucking hit rock bottom.
I did both of those.
Okay, Mike, it's time.
Which way's the
It's
Billy
time.
Club? Which way's the Billy Club?
Hey there, if you like the clip, make sure to subscribe or check out this recommended clip to my right.